What is up, guys? I told y'all to turn on those post notifications. We are back with another breaking news episode here on the Blue Bloods. If you're new, smash the subscribe button, hit the like button. But let's waste no time. Y'all saw the thumbnail, everything like that. It has been officially confirmed by Horn Frog Blitz for 247 Sports, our guy Jeremy Clark. He has confirmed that Deion Sanders did interview for the TCU job as recently as yesterday. Now, none of the interviews are in person. We know Dion is going through some health issues and things like that. Hasn't coached for multiple games, but should be back hopefully on the sidelines this weekend. All thoughts and everything to his family. But Jeremy Clark has reported that Dion did interview with TCU yesterday, and that everyone on the search committee was extremely impressed, and that Dion impressed them so much that he should be moving on to the next round of interviews, which means that Deion Sanders could potentially be one of the in-person interviews TCU does before they make their next cut. He is officially in that top upper echelon of candidates for this opening. Now, this was also reported by the Dallas Fort Worth Star, and the quote was that this is not a guarantee he's going to get the job or take the job or anything like that, but this is a confirmation that he is one of the top candidates and that he has officially entered his name into this head coaching search. And it was reported that Deion's own team did reach out to TCU to express interest in the job, and there is mutual interest on both sides from both parties in this coaching search. But he interviewed as recently as yesterday. TCU came away really impressed, and based on all the reports on 247, there's real fire behind all this smoke, and there are a lot of TCU fans and alumni who are really pushing this higher. And according to Jeremy Clark, one of the top things TCU wanted is someone who can go dominate the transfer portal. And if you've been following SWAC football at all, Deion Sanders has been one of the top transfer portal coaches in the country. I mean, what he did with Jackson State, landing the number one FCS class, a top 60 class, mostly out of the transfer portal, was absolutely impressive after a COVID shortened recruiting cycle. So that really put him on TCU's radar, along with his historic connections to Texas high school football, which was another thing TCU really wanted. Like I reported on our TCU episode where I reported Patterson was fired, I linked it in the description below. Go click on that if you want the latest on other candidates and things like that. But Deion Sanders is a legit candidate. There's mutual interest, and this thing isn't just a rumor mill started up by someone random. Deion Sanders has officially interviewed and will most likely get a second interview with TCU after these next cuts. Now, he isn't the favorite. Still, Sonny Dykes is the favorite. That's the SMU head coach that I previewed on our the first episode for TCU. And Sonny Dykes from SMU is going to be a top candidate. You look at what he did at SMU, he has them, potentially in the top 25. He has two consecutive wins over TCU, and he has really, really strong recruiting ties in the Dallas Fort Worth area. Major success in the transfer portal. You look at what they're doing at quarterback, and all those things really make Dykes one of the top candidates for this job. Also, Jeff Traylor, UTSA, like I reported, is one of those top candidates as well. What he's done at UTSA is so impressive. And you look at his 15-5 record, 9-2 at CSA. And when you look at what he did at Gilmer High School, leading them to multiple state titles in East Texas, Traylor is the exact type of guy that TCU also wants. He won the Recruiter of the Year award while he was an assistant coach at Texas. But the number one thing is that he has a buyout that is up there. I mean, I believe it's almost $10 million is what his buyout is, because he just signed a contract extension to 2031 with UTSA. And that's another thing with SMU, is they are about to offer Dykes a major, major extension. But according to Jeremy Clark, TCU is looking to spend real money here on this coaching search. So Traylor and Dykes are still top candidates. Napier still in the running. You look at someone like a Dan Lanning, the defensive coordinator for Georgia, who has been dominant on the recruiting trail and also has arguably the best defense in the country right now at Georgia. Is currently ranked first in the country with only allowing about 6 points a game this year. On top of that, you look at some of the other names that have emerged, like such as a Jeremy Chadwell at Coastal Carolina, who has really built a Sun Belt powerhouse at Coastal Carolina that no one thought was possible. And also Matt Campbell has emerged as a potential candidate. And also, according to Jeremy Clark, Chris Peterson, the legendary Washington and Boise State coach, has also expressed his interest and should also get an interview. So those are the other top candidates. But in terms of what will Deion bring to TCU as a head coach, man? You look at the first thing, notoriety and recruiting. I mean, it would be a huge stepping stone for a Power Five program to go out and hire. He keeps being termed as a celebrity coach. Now that he's coached some time at college football, I don't consider him necessarily a celebrity coach. He's a real head coach, and they see the success he's having at Jackson State. They see the success he's having on the recruiting trail. And so if you're TCU, you look at his high school ties, you look at the recruiting success, and you look at and just on the field success, where he and just guys, I mean, I want to put this in perspective, just from spring to now has built a team that can sustain, even if he's not there, as he's been away with health issues and they've still found a way to win. So the biggest thing for Deion, and a lot of people have been saying this, is how much control is TCU going to give? Well, Deion has a great relationship with the athletic director and the head of the search committee over at TCU. So I would imagine that he's going to have more freedom than a lot of people think. And there's going to be a real interest there. And so, there's going to come a time where it's going to really come down to one, Traylor's buyout, two, Dykes' extension with SMU, three, is Deion ready to make that jump? And then four, what about if a Chris Peterson offers to come out of retirement? That could really throw a big wrinkle into this. So there's a lot of moving parts here. But the number one thing that Deion is going to bring to TCU as a head coach that they love: transfer portal success, recruiting success, Texas ties. And also, when you look at Oklahoma and Texas leaving the Big 12, the number one thing as a conference for the Big 12 is how much money, attention, and notoriety can a Deion hire bring to that conference when they're already losing their top two revenue generating teams in Oklahoma and a Texas on the gridiron. So that's also another factor to play into this. And they know, TCU knows it. I said this on our Texas Tech episode yesterday where they went out and hired their new head coach. The number one thing is a lot of these teams in the Big 12 see a huge opening now that Texas and Oklahoma are stepping away from the conference. Who is going to be the next powerhouse in the Big 12? TCU, Texas Tech, and a lot of these programs think it could be them. So TCU is going to go for a splash hire, and Deion fits right in with those plans. Now, the next move for TCU in the head coaching search is the next cut of interviews, in-person interviews, and trimming that list down to a handful of candidates and really identifying who you want to be the new head coach. And I would imagine over the next week, we're going to hear about second interviews, hear in-person interviews and things like that, and where TCU is moving. Just to let y'all know I like to bring y'all the most accurate information on YouTube. I reached out to Jeremy Clark and I reached out to the people at the Dallas Fort Worth Star to come on the show hopefully tonight on my mailbag, 6:30 p.m. Central Time. Tune in. I'll have the latest on this Deion to TCU uh, story, if you want to call it. And I'll also possibly could have Jeremy Clark as one of the people from the Dallas Fort Worth Star. If not, they're going to come on later this week, and I'm going to find you guys the latest and best info from the people who are really involved in this story. Now, who do I think should be the next head coach? It's a really tough question because I really think everyone brings a different thing, but I've been vocal that I really, really like. I really like, in my opinion, Dykes as the head coach from SMU. You see what he's done on the offensive side of the ball, and you've also seen what he can do in the state of Texas. I've also mentioned that Dan Lanning, if you're not going to hire a head coach, Dan Lanning's your guy. He is literally the exact replica of what Patterson was when he stepped into the role at TCU. So I really like Lanning at Georgia as the defensive coordinator. But if you can land a name like a Deion Sanders, man, I find it hard to believe that you would pass that opportunity up. So right now, if I had to rank them in terms of what I would do if I was TCU, I would put Dan Lanning at number one, Dykes at two, Deion at three, if I had to make my predictions right now. But if I had to guess who TCU will hire, based on all reports, it was going to be Sonny Dykes, from SMU. But a lot can change in these interviews. You look at, the Auburn head coaching job. There was a clear favorite up until like the third round, and then Brian Harsin appeared out of nowhere. Same thing for a lot of these big jobs. Same thing for the Texas job. Same thing for the Georgia job back when they hired Kirby Smart. So I'm going to keep you guys updated on the latest. I've reached out to a bunch of my TCU people. I will be having people on the show. But guys, if you're curious about more and you want to get your opinions out there, and everything, come to the live mailbag tonight, 6:30 p.m. Central Time. We're going to break down all the latest on these Deion Sanders rumors and let you guys know the latest, man. But I appreciate y'all tuning in. I'm hoping y'all having a great Tuesday afternoon. But for right now, man, the Blue Bloods are out.